Imo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has described the state's poor performance in the recently released data on value-added tax, otherwise known as VAT, generated by the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, for the first quarter of 2025, which placed the state 35th out of 36 states as a sign of states lacking relevant economic policies. This was stated in a press release issued by the spokesperson of the party, Lancelot Albiaco, who said that the recent statistics confirmed its earlier assertion that Governor Hope Uzodinma's administration has crippled the state's economy and stifled businesses and commercial activities through poor economic policies, which he stated have rendered the state unattractive to investors. The PDP spokesperson pointed out that the state, according to the recent figures, contributed the second lowest VAT revenue to the Federation account with just 2.34 billion naira, only ahead of Taraba State, which contributed 2.33 billion naira. He hinted that it is unbelievable that states performed worse among other states in southern Nigeria and fell far behind Anambra State with 10.73 billion naira and Ebonyi State with 7.43 billion naira. In this instance, if I may ask you, please, where are you from?
From River State, yeah.
Okay. Ikwere Bekau.
Dearly. Though I'm not from Ikwere.
Okay, so you're not like the Ikwere parts of the state.
Yes.
What parts of River State are you from?
Yeah, part of River State, Ahoda.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Well, now this issue of the PDP, Imo State People's Democratic Party, comparing different states to Imo State. You know, some people will think that because of the not inhabitants of Ebonyi State, they won't be able to produce so much of that that the state has actually produced for the 2025, according to the record that it has stated. You know, the PDP calling out Hope Uzodinma on the reason why the Imo State has generated the lowest compared to Taraba State. Just like when you have a child and your child just overpass just one individual in the class, I'm not sure you will be proud about that. You won't, no matter no matter the number, even though they are 5.
No parents will.
No parents will. Even though they are 5 and your child is 4th out of 5th, you're not going to get proud about that situation. So we can get the point where the People's Democratic Party is coming from. Although some people will say it's a call on there could be a political undertone in that instance. But let's look at it holistically in the aspects of the state itself, not in the political aspect.
Exactly. I don't even want to look at it in that political perspective, because the politicians always have their way to probably hit on their opponents or their political enemy in quotes. But in a more administrative, or should I say, in a more side of governance, everybody has a right to voice out as to the poor performance of a particular government. So long as it affects the citizens resident in that environment, they have the right to voice out. It doesn't matter whether you belong to one political party or you are even a member of no political party. You have the right to voice out. Now, nobody feels happy that the state where he belongs doesn't perform well or is not doing well administrative-wise. Nobody feels happy about it. And most times it's as a result of poor policy, like it's rightly mentioned. If you don't put the right policies in place, of course you will not be able to generate much. And secondly, security. The insecurity that has bedeviled the southeast for a few years now, if I'm not mistaken, has or may have as well affected the economy drastically. There is no way there will be security challenge in a particular place and you expect best results from that environment, because it will scare away investors in the first place. And even those who are resident there will be scared of going out for their daily business. And all of this, when the business is moving, of course, tax will be paid. If nothing is happening, you can't also take tax. You can't take tax from nothing. It is from the earning that you can deduct tax. So when no earning is made, of course, you can't deduct that from anywhere. So I believe the insecurity in the area is also a factor to be considered for the poor the revenue generation in the environment.
When you refer to the insecurity aspects, we know that Imo State was not the only state that's actually been affected by the whole insecurity, especially from a particular non-state actors that I will not want to call out their names. You know, Ebonyi State is also affected. At some point, I think the Ebonyi State indigents were saying that herdsmen have invaded some parts of their community. Anambra State, which was also called out, is affected. Enugu, some parts of Enugu is affected. So in that instance where we're looking at the security aspect, I really don't know. I'm not going to disagree with you, but I don't think insecurity will be the stronghold for that, because like I stated, those other states are affected. And
security is not actually the stronghold, so to say. I'm just saying that it's a factor as well to look at, because bringing in investor, attracting investor to an environment, the investor would like to know how secure.
So you don't think it's from the head, like this party has stated. Probably that's like you stated also, like the policies could be one of the reasons that is also added to it. Is it that he has not opened doors to other investors, other businesses to engage in activities in the state?
He certainly must have failed to do what he should do to attract investors. Even if security is a factor to be considered, you still tie it down to the head, because he is, in principle, the chief security officer of the state. So if he feels that security has challenged revenue generation, he should be able to do something about it to cure that deficiency and improve the revenue generation in the state. So it's still tied down to the head. So it's all about policies. So you make the right policies, you get the right things done, and then you generate revenue.
And what kind of policies do you think has to be done in this issue of valued added tax situation? If you look at it, we know that taxpayers are lesser than, if we have to check statistically, taxpayers are really not all of that, unless, or maybe you're registered company. We see most of these business owners and all of that, some of them do not engage in tax paying activities. And Imo State, I could say, is one of those states that have more of their indigents and more business owners in that instance. You know, do we say that, aside the fact, like you said, it's from the head, there has not been serious, push over the issue of tax payment?
Yes, like you say, there's not been serious push over the issue of tax payment. And if you go back to Lagos State, with due respect, I think we are made to understand that Mr. President now, as then the governor of Lagos State, invested so much to ensure that Lagos State generates a high level of revenue. And how he did it is best known to him. I wouldn't want to poke into what he did and how he went about it. But I believe that any governor can do something to generate tax in the state. I will not be specific, because the environment is the peculiar environment will determine what should be done to ensure tax generation. So they should know, they know how the environment works. He should know how best to generate tax. But I know for sure that even if they are more, the occupants of that environment are more of indigents, it does not stop them from paying tax, so long as we're engaging in business activities. And if only they can enforce it, of course they will generate tax. But I feel enforcement has been a challenge, which is still tied down to the head. You allow people to do their business without taking tax from them, and you don't expect them to just on their own voluntarily, in their own dubious mindset, when they feel what they are even earning is not even enough for their upkeep, and you want them to pay tax. So you have to, apply some means of enforcement to ensure that they pay.
When you refer to business owners that should pay taxes, from what level to what level are supposed to be taxpayers, please?
Anyway, the FRS will tell us which is taxable and which is not taxable.
Like that mama that sell a car, she's supposed to pay tax. I want to know.
Technically, we all pay tax. Technically, now these persons, if you observe very well, even the taxi drivers pay tax.
Yeah, because they have an organization.
So they pay tax.
Yes.
Now, those who sell in the market, those who administer the market environment also collect tax from them. So how they did it, or how they go about doing it, I don't know. But they all pay tax. One will end up paying tax. The product will buy from supermarket will pay tax for them. So there is nothing we don't pay tax on. So I believe, but what I don't know is whether these taxes are properly channeled, because sometimes as a result of the quest to enriching oneself, some persons may have diverted this tax to themselves. At least I remember vividly years past when payments are usually done manually. Some institutions used to have shortage of funds because those who receive the payment will siphon them. But when it is now made online, they have to pay direct to the account. So they now started generating more. So I feel there is something they can do. I don't want to propose what should be done, but I know there is something they can do to enhance their tax generation or revenue generation.
Okay.